Geshe Tenley Geshe Okay, good evening again. Okay, any guys here? Okay, we're going to learn meditation, okay? In the last couple of weeks, we have not much idea where we're going. First thing of meditation, just breathing meditation. So Lord, you're getting in, harness you all the oxygens, whatever you need, bring in. When you bring out all the any kind negative thoughts, sickness in your body, in the channels, bring out like that, just bring in and out about a couple of times, okay? Now visualization, front of you, Buddha's image. You're comfortable or you meditation, Buddha's image. If not, you can visualization, anything, any object you're more familiar with. Keep your mind there very clear and very tight. Those chiniyai, yumi pache kama teji, and yirimu kase, dewana, and lila katsemewa, and semlachi katsemega kala, lita semningalachi, musega tso, devega nabaleguna, and gomde yabu yunga
In this way, when you focus on an object for some time and you don't feel any discomfort in your body while doing that, and your mind also feels relaxed and have no difficulties focusing or being free from the distraction, then that shows that you are having a good concentration.
제가 곰라 제곰단 조금 니어래. 되니 만나면 제거래.
There are two types of meditations: analytical meditation and placement meditation. So you should not mixed up.
아니 제금 지에 갈아야다 이게 내서 문에 칸데로 다지적으로 삼았다. 아니 다지적으로.
When you're doing an analytical meditation, you are analyzing about the object.
앞에 전에 단단함도 쉬어야 됐다. 아니 상동고 동반이가 걸. 아니 따따원 다투듯이 시작이래. 대형의 따때 따원 다투도 옆에 드시 야쇼됐다. 땡데.
So, for example, like right now, we're discussing about the special insight, right? So, special insight is all about the view, the ultimate, the view, and so the most reasonable or and understandable, the view, the ultimate view, is the dependent rising.
제자 안에 땡데 걸어요. 배나 추 가내지 바나 말로선 암조 고외가 자 미기 통하고 쑥 아니 사람들 저 강의 받지 예 지제 땡데라 땡네 저기가 나죠 오 실로로 샤워이나 다다라는 지제를 땡 제다 제라 마템베 시도천 싸워있는 모두 샘샘 타쳐오는 정화이나 아니 제공되고 고쳐요.
So after analyzing about all these objects that you perceive, like the sound that you hear with your ears, or the forms that you see with your eyes, or the smells that you experience with your nose, and all these things. So when you see this, when you perceive these things, then if you are able to think that these are all existing independent upon cause and conditions, or upon parts and so forth. So when you, of course, through the analysis, you have come to that conclusion that yes, everything is dependent rising. So when you have done that, then that's the final, or the final, as a view, of the meditation on emptiness.
지나서 미치게 땐 시도하면 땐데를 오치는 것도 참 땐데를 해가지고 라고래 가라고래.
So it's you have to come to understand that through meditation, through experience, and not just yes, it is like that. Somebody, if right now, if someone were to ask you, are all things independent rising? Then you say yes, of course, all things are independent rising. So yes, we can say that. Easily we can say that. Verbally we can say that very easily, but we don't really have the experience of that in our mind.
나도 아니 땐데 남자들 강의마다 하고 말아야 땐데 마임바 두들문을 주바데 딱 가니까 그렇게 하는 거예요.
When we come to understand all things are dependent rising, it come to existence through cause and conditions, parts, and so forth. Then grasping at the things as existing from their one side, or intrinsically, and without depending on cause and condition and so forth, will become smaller and smaller.
제가 강식 땡주 마임비 추가봐 마임바 땡주 마임비 추가 추개 직접 매배가 남자들 야보지 하고 와나 아니 땡주인다 동아래에서 요를 적용하다.
And so if you understand that there isn't anything or any phenomena that is not dependent rising. So everything is dependent rising. So there isn't anything that is not dependent rising. And so when you understand that it's dependent rising, then you understand that it's empty.
다도 전에 다 가난들이요. 다 빼나 가서 돈 받아 오시. 다 본받아다 주는 놈이 가서 갑에 댐다 오시. 다 댐기 슬로데야 댐 말에 나타와리 말에 파템을 되는 댐부터 서면 대 땀적 말에 스페셜 말도 와. 내가 빼시 본받아 자셔. 뭐 댐다 오잖아요.
So like in this text, when it gives the example of the pot, right? The pot, what is pot? There's no pot. You say there's no pot. But then when you say there's no pot, then so then you look for the pot and you don't find the pot, right? So like example here given that you can also use the book as an example, like the cover of the book. The front page is not book, the back page is not the book, the middle pages are not book, the letter is not book. So what is the book? Where's the book? So not finding book in that way is not understanding the emptiness of book.
Okay. 다 내가 빼져다가다 남들 현재진 진짜대 하고 그래서 대 가진 생각나진 그건 무슨 생각도 어떤 대문도 삼아가는 가져다 시내거나 그래서
So you have to come to understand how this grasping at the true existence, the mind that grasps mind, the grasping at true existence apprehends the things, right? So how when you come to understand that things do not exist in a way it's been apprehended by the mind that sees things as existing truly. When you come to understand that, then you will understand the emptiness.
Okay, now where are we? Remember? I have not such idea. 그래, 저는 좀 봐도.
We're still in outline 417, but
they talk about
three different ways of apprehending a person and gone through some of the paragraphs on that.
so after that, yeah.
Did we start that?
No, we kind of went through that.
We finished that, right?
Finish that.
We ended
6. So like 6:30 in the blue book.
36:30.
Then what? Remember? People walking.
Example, yeah, two people walking.
People walking. Yeah. Okay, not that book's bottom that. So they church and we are watching. Okay, that's good. This is an example. Okay, maybe you are just new, maybe you don't have to follow, but it's too complicated, okay? Yeah, no my chat, yeah? You like, you can follow. I'm going to tell you that. Lamte many shimne to one us. What page number? Okay.
6:30.
We're almost at 418, outline 418.
66 over.
You told the word told Tamchu, well, he's looking for the iPad.
The paragraph?
Yeah, so you know which paragraph it starts at?
Through this example, two people travel.
Right at the top.
When the 18th?
Yes.
418. Oh, 418. Okay.
So just before that.
Okay. Yep.
Page 11,022.
11,000? It's true.
1100 maybe.
No, it's 11,000. It's a very small.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. 내가 그래. 아들 현재지. 아직 가진도 너무 된다도 하고 그래서.
So first you have to understand how that the innate and grasping at the self and the grasping at the I, the innate grasping at the I, grasp or apprehend the things.
Okay? 앞에서 남중하면서 relay 가면 땅 I'm Mark, I'm Howard, Jennifer. 근데 이거 야무나 지금 수술 지금 남달라고 같다. 지금 내가도 지금 수술 샤당 소화를 가지고 되게 나도 톡도 해.
Normally, when we say who I am, like I'm Mark, I'm Jennifer, I'm Howard, and so forth, but then at that time you have this grasping at the I, right? I'm Jennifer, like that. And then at the time when you are very scared, and when you're very frightened or scared, at that time you have this as I. So you see the difference of these two, grasping at this I at that time.
제가 남중하던 데까지 나도 현지에서 이어되나 나도 저 토르고요 말. 이로도 막까지 네가 매일 가블라.
And so that, normally when there's no danger, no scared, right? At that time you still have this idea or apprehension of the I, or the me as a Jennifer and so forth, right? So at that time, you still have the grasping at the I. You have the grasping that's called the innate grasping at the I. But you will not have a very strong feeling about the I at that time.
다 미지 지나면 많이 가요로 치워 있나? 아티컬레 미팅 나래 예쁜 데고서 티갑서 나 라지 트바다 이슈 치부슈 나고 따티 나도 간디지 바가 와고.
But suddenly if somebody shouts at you or scolds you or blames you for something that you haven't done, then immediately then you have this, how could he say that to me? I'm not that like that. So that grasping at the I is very different, from normal, the grasping at the I that we have.
오케이. 다 남주 지나서 대 나도 남주 대 따지 제거 말. 남주 대 삼성 검자고 했더니 갑자야. 간디 정도 남바나 이거 갑자기 야무다가 슈가 갑자기 딱까지 수술하지. 소슈 춤을 내고 갑자기 나한테 하고.
And so, so it's very difficult, to have that strong feeling normally, right? When you're just thinking of yourself as someone so and so. But when somebody says that, bad thing to you or blames you for the things that you haven't done, then at that time the grasping of the I becomes very strong, vivid, right? And so you have to practice, to have that feeling. Normally, like when you don't have that. When you have that feeling already, when somebody shouted you or blame you for the things that you have not done, then already, of course, you already learned, but you have to, do that practice beforehand, before, when you really experience, that kind of situation.
다 나나지나서 소소지나 미 선에 대 삼아체다 나 세대 가지고 직삼하셨던 삼삼도 와요 삼삼 라도 요거 제가 가지고 쇼청 해 보고 말해 꼼다
So normally, we don't even think about I, right? So it says I, just we all have this kind of idea about I am so and so. But then, where is the I? Where is this me? Then when you look for it, maybe sometimes you find that in someone in your brain, or sometimes maybe on your chest, your heart, or sometimes you don't even see it. It kind of disappears.
Right? 다 꼼대가 다 지나서 소소지 태쇼와.
So now we're going to meditate a little while on yourself, okay? Try to find yourself.
Okay. Everyone hear the airplane sound, right? It doesn't get. Just sometimes you hear it, sometimes maybe sometimes car, 무슨 도움도.
It's difficult to identify, right? Identify the I, the self. Sometimes you feel like it's there, sometimes you feel like it's not there.
당한도 당기려고 많이 가는 없이 까지 소소비 소시유가 휴지 뭐 휴밀하게다.
Then, like I mentioned about, someone, when someone says you're very bad or blames you for things that you haven't done, and at that time, the I that you feel is very strong, right?
제가 다 드니요 걸로 다 드니 드니가로 소슈치 뭐 그래서 드니 소슈치 뭐 갑래야 아니 나들지 휴체로 답치제지 딱 나디 가니 정도 되는 따지제 그래서 다 공개는도 손다 그래서.
And then, so when you have that kind of strong feeling of the I in the situation like that, then you have to sort of, kind of increase that grasping and then try to find, that I.
다 빼셔도 다 남가지랑 붙이 남바로구나 미녀나 안을 로 쇼치기 남라다 쇼치기 군이 계제로 이런 밀다니 이해서 그러지 로 쇼치기 나도 쇼치 못해 야 샤추 쇼치기 되게 샤다 간디 샤르겠다 us다고 그래서.
So just like the example it gives here, suppose two people are traveling side by side on the same road, each keeping an eye on both the road and their companion, out of the corner of their eyes. So like, you keep, you're walking on the road, so you have to be focused on the road, and then you have your friend or the person walking next to you, and you're looking at that person too. So just like that. So when you have this kind of strong feeling, of the I, and at a time when somebody blames you for things that you have not done, then you should watch that I, and then at the same time,
디지털인 빼서 걸는다 따로
알았다고 그랬어.
나갔다 그랬어. 로 쇼치기 나지 레지가 나득하니 정도 왔다. 아니 지금 나도 돼. 지금 나도 쇼치 뭐야 샤추. 달로 서치 나도 샤도 그 간이 샤도 혹시 딱 그랬어.
So one mind, one part of the mind, is grasping at that, strong, feeling of the I, right? And then the other part of the mind, should watch that mind, how it is grasping at that I at that time.
And 나도 이게 너무나 로 마타디기 때때 잡고 때때 가야 오지 마시죠. 다이로 쇼치 그 이게 때때 식당하지 너 때도시. 때다 이게 되는거잖아. 그래 이게 쇼치 로데 유튜브 가는 맛 때문에 되지. 솔직히 그냥 대선이야 코치 대로 보지는 용도 어때서 그러지. 약도서 그러지. 너다 샤고다.
때가
이게 찍어라 이게 다 sabza lo shedang lo chaje tsama dina su de ro ta chaje chi de ya 이게 yu ya bo tie ko de su de ro je ro de so.
So it's like then, like when you're trying to write on a book, your mind is on the book that you're writing, right? But then on the other part of the mind also, make sure that you're writing in a correct way. The style of the writing or the handwriting, so you want to make sure that it is clear and like it. So those is actually we have both of that at that time. It's just that we don't recognize that.
답변은 내 몰라도 왔어. 배제 되는 것도 와. 아니 매니 람든 좋아나 뮤지션 람다 아 조단 남네 같은 로고 왔다라스 로 리제지 뭐 오늘 가자 차트 중에스 차트 줄라스 아로 리제들라 가자데 간이죠 대 샤추고 그래스 네 루차게 참고 이게 리제지 나서라 따고 딱 간이 나도 걷다고 그래스.
So just like you said here, it's while you let the object to be refuted present itself to you, so it appears to you, right? You must examine the instinctive mode of appearance of this object with the minutes part of your mind.
And then 나서 따비로 쇼 체냐 체나 난 대단지 나샤 시네 and don't want that 몇 받쳐도 봐. 야만은 무서워. 세우면 받쳐도 니까 요한자. 아니 지금 내가 개파자 따지고 그래서.
When you try to examine that mind, then because your examination might be too strong, right? The mind that examines is too strong, and then the other mind grasping in and at the object to be refuted, it disappears like that. So that's what it says. If this mind examining the mode of appearance of the eye is too strong, part of your grip on the eye will be destroyed.
La chata nangandu tapana kabre liji tona yopa kabre simji tina yopa tawa so chasa naso oya teda ngaze leji ngaze leje la ngan chasa namda tamalas teda yashudo mares.
And so in this process, while you are looking into exactly how the eye appeared to your instinctive grasping at a self, so if you are familiar with this, that means the same thing that I'm using the translation innate, right? It's instinctive. And grasping at a self, the eye may present itself in a various ways. Sometimes the eye may seem like something imputed on the body, sometimes on the mind. Right now, you attempted to do some meditation on the eye, right? So where does your eye appear? Where is the eye? Where do you find the eye? Do you find it on the head, in the chest, on the mind? Or sometimes you feel like there's no eye? Just like we read in the text here, we're going to try to see find the eye or meditate on the eye. So does it appear just like it's explained here in the text, or is it different from what is said in the text?
You're not looking text. Okay. Now meditation. Okay, start meditation. Try to whatever book say, and your own experience, how you experience. Okay, so them na lo na lo sa ro ta susu gom jamni susu ko karuta nyamno ka indu chitagida.
We have just read the book right now, right? And now you try to go back and meditate on your own and see if you feel the same way about the eye, like it's explained in the text, or you see it in a different way.
Okay, you don't look at your neighbors. You just say I, me, who are me. Okay. Okay. Tana nina launi lugunde samsam dawa yuwa sando samsam dawa samsam kel samya tema ki chalunde.
So did you feel just like it said in the text here? Sometimes you feel it in the head, sometimes in the body, sometimes in the mind, or sometimes it's not there at all. Did you feel like that?
아체 단단한 공도 다내 딱지 쇼체를 가는 디칸도 초쇼 치부 레벨 갑라 디칼로 다치도 그랬어.
Well, right now we don't have the experience to do the meditation in the situations where you find the strong feeling of the eye, like when you are blamed for something that you haven't done. Then at that time, the eye feeling of the eye that you have is very strong, and so it's to catch at that time is very difficult.
네, 제가 배워나가고 다 대, 제가 대는 저한테 난주대, 그다 지랑. 야봉 무슨 뭐 말했어. 다원에 간이적으로나 다절 리셈다. 다내 가서 아까로 다저도 지시해요. 마케트 질랍선데. 가시 다주 고르 가시 고 말라게 되는 뭐 나타 패전디 몰라 다주 고르 스트리트 와서. 다주 리셈다. 다주 강사 마시비 토바가 베메시키 되나 나 릴레와시 미디 파르타바zam바 코랑은데 수두도 집에 나와시 람지샤나 대가지 나서 좀 받아 연세
So this is
다시 그래서 다루스 다시 리셈다
so this is not the general way the I presents itself to the instinctive grasping of the I. The body and mind, which are the basis of imputation. So the body and mind are just the basis of imputation, for a person or the I, as well as the person, the imputed phenomena. So the person is the one who is imputed, on the basis of the imputation, the body and mind. So it's all merged into the one undifferentiated set. The self-evident I plainly appears to not be just some name imputed on this set. It appears instead to be something established as being self-sufficient. That's from its one side. And if the I seems to be like this, you have rightly perceived the way the object to be refuted appears to you.
Okay, 단데 무슨 거? 단데 가서 내가 또 혈거든 건 무슨 거요 말이야.
So it is. So you have to recognize that, right? So recognizing that is very important. It appears, it comes to us all the time, but we're not able to recognize it.
Okay, how's the Harvard?
No, nothing. I'm just thinking.
You are the, I thought you just.
No, not today. No, I'm good.
I thought you just like.
No, I appreciate it.
제다 다 닌딩이 나서 가디 나그래서 당도 저들 가디 다원한테 가디 나게 그랬나 다 지금 소소라 소쇼 잡고 내가도 남라도 올라가 다들 나가서 어떻게 무슨 더 맞다 좀 더요 맞
So when does this appear? It appears in the time, like I said, when you're very scared, or when you are blamed for something that you haven't done. At that time, it becomes very strong. It appears very strongly, but we're not able to recognize that.
제가 때문에 뭐 가디 나선 거도 당가도 나는 가디 나가다 때 때문에 뭐 소다 안 선거 지금 저 소쇼 잡고지 레벨 갑라요 뭔데 나게 그랬어 모두 제가 다 빼전 그런데 모두
It is said in the text here, and also His Holiness the Lama used to say, that when does the I exist from its one side appear to us? And since just like here in the text, is at the time when we have a very strong feeling, strong sense of frightened or said something by others to make us become angry like that. At that time, then this the I exists from its one side seems to appear very strongly, but we're not able to recognize that at that time.
What?
Yes, but like when you talk about the body, right? Like for me, when I'm angry,
Yeah.
my stomach burns, right? When I'm really thinking a lot, I get like I can feel when it's like something sad, it's my heart. So I think our mind or the channels, whatever, affects certain organs.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So you have to, if you're aware of it, then yes, it's happening to somebody. How you want to call it?
Somebody the
So at that time, how does it appear? How does the I appear at that time? Like when you're very angry,
On fire.
Yeah. So how does the I appear at that time to you?
과잉적인 조사들로 나 파이 처음이다. 나 조사들한테.
You say my stomach burns, right? So you're saying my stomach burns, but you're not talking about I burns, right? So at that time, how does the I appear to you? Can you recognize that I at that time?
다 디걸로 나 수두이면 나도 랑문을 잡아 수도는 질라고도 다 되네걸로 남겨 그랬어.
At that time, if you look at it, if you look at the eye, then if you're able to look at the eye at that time, then you will see that eye existing from its one side.
무슨 다
That is the eye existing from its one side that appears at that time. But of course, if we are not experienced with it, or if we are not used to looking at it, then we will not recognize that.
Yes.
Seems so subtle to me. I can't quite get clear that from this explanation. I know it's different, but self-sufficient, substantially existent person. I feel like that person is taller. I feel the aggregates the basis of designation, so it's different from this inherited self. It's very subtle. I can't quite distinguish this self between this self and self-sufficient, substantially existent person. Is it because self-sufficient?
This self, you mean the inner self, or the self exists from its one side?
The difference between that self and self-sufficient, substantially existent person. Differences. Wonder what's
안다기 디난게다는 나라에다 안에 나 가서 아랑제도 베제도도 베마 이 케바데 베 타무슈스를 그래서 뭐라 따다 하고 마선스 아저도 베제도도 마
제자
안에 단다기 디난 쉐이 많이
제다 아라체 때문에 데이터라고. 근데 주바시고 되게 디바 채워 용 거야. 아라체 때문에 데이터라고 나서 때 라자와 수투는 데 봐. 대신 내 수들한테도 막 말하고 된다 주바 용 거야.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Similar.
What is explained, what is said here, the I that's explained here is the same as the I existing in the self-sufficient or substantially. It's the same. It's just the different words here.
이들랑도 미디 파자바다 마엠바 수두이원에 투발한다 아라체 때문에 투발랍되거든.
So it says it appears instead, like the name imputed on the set, right? So Blended appears to not be just some name imputed on the set. On the set, it appears instead, to be something established as being self-sufficient. So it's the same thing here.
아라체 때문에 제다 제 가야 맞다 아라체와 수두이원에 투발하는 거야.
So self-sufficient here means from its one side, without depending on cause and condition, from its one side by itself.
미라고 내가 전에 코로나 때문에 코로나 폐결해서 코로나 제도를 써야죠.
So like, if somebody is able to do the job by himself, he's he's a self-sufficient. He doesn't need any helper to do the job. He can do by himself. That's what it means like that.
오다 네가 라자 때문에 나중에 홍보를 했다고 말이. 나중에 아니 세명했다고 말이. 대략 그야 마또 베스 또 나오실 거. 아니 미국 파 따와도만 막 코로나는 다 나도 오늘 가디는 것은 가지 세명 암라라 대와다. 직장나 대와다. 초 띠값도 쉬려는 거다.
So it says like it appears instead to be something established as being self-sufficient. Something established as being self-sufficient. So not be just some name imputed on it on this set. So means like so established as being self-sufficient without dependent cause and conditions. Like at that time when you have a strong feeling of the I, at the time when we are frightened or when somebody scolds us or blame us for things that we have not done, then at that time, why not? I've never done that. I didn't do it. Why is shouting at me like that? So at that time, the I becomes the feeling of the I is very strong, and that I that appears to us, is the self-sufficient I, and so it means like that I seems to be like on its own, without depending on the aggregates or without depending on the mind. Without depending on any body, it's just by itself, without depending on any the basis of designation and so forth.
다음에 저도 들어야 되는 거야. 남중가도 누구지 대대고 마셔야 돼. 서로 샤당당. 그리고 남라다 직자다 지. 시안하다고나 샤당다고 된다고도.
So do you see the difference of the I that appear to you? The I normally when you are peacefully sitting on your chair. At that time, how the I appear to you, and then the I and how it appears to you when you are very frightened or scared. Do you see the difference?
Different? Big difference, yeah. Not different.
Well, so then how are we supposed to, on a practical level, right, day to day, how are we supposed to conceptualize our identity?
그래서 벌써 소스.
Then
소스 나한테 그래서 벌써.
제가 나한테 간이도 하고 나한테 간이도 하고.
First, you have to understand how is the I existing.
대답을 해. 삼지초 내 삼초 내 삼.
So it's not saying you can conceptualize like this, or you cannot conceptualize like that. It's not saying that. So you have to conceptualize the real, the truth one that you will not, you will not have any problem, right? So first you have to recognize the real I, and then you conceptualize the I in that way.
만들어 간도 나세 짜치무지도 나세 짜치무지로.
So there is I or no? Yeah.
What I call we have a life story. My name is Jane. My parents are Timmy and Johnny. I study, animal husbandry. It's nothing more than a story. I understand that intellectually, but like on a minute to minute.
But there is the I, right? There's the I that we consider very important. The I that we cherish.
Story wrapped around.
We care, right?
You're aware. Like, so if I'm aware of my body and something bites me, I'm like, oh. I feel somebody feels pain. I can't reduce it any more than aware. That's as far as it can go.
So it's just the awareness. The I is just an awareness.
No, we have layers of conditioning on it.
There is an I, right, that comes into existence, that exists, by depending on cause and condition, right? Geshe-la has a mala in his hand, right?
As drinking water.
If he thinks this is a stick, then it's a mistaken, right? So it's just not the mind, thinking or conceptualizing this as a stick. That doesn't work. It has to be something on that side, right? It has to be something to call it, call it so stick or mala, right? And so it should not be contradictory, with by the two extremes. That's mala, right? So this, so instead, if I say this is not a mala, it's a cup, then the mind which knows this is a mala will be harmed. If you say this is not a mala and it's a cup instead, right? So it should not be harmed, by the two extremes.
Okay.
We're not saying that it doesn't exist. We're not saying that it doesn't exist.
How it exists.
Your words.
Okay, yeah, we know this is big different, okay?
Not saying it doesn't exist.
Then you
If you say it doesn't exist, then you're falling into the extreme of nihilism.
Okay, yes.
I have a clarifying question, but also related to Mark's point that it seems like the practice is not it's not really to find the true self, but the practice is to find the falsehood in our conception of the self and then refute it. So instead, I feel like we're always in the search of, this is the real conception of I, but I feel like all the instructions are telling us, no, find the falseness of how we conceive it, and then refute it and find the object, and within ourselves, that's the practice. And using the example that Mark gave, like if someone bites me, when someone bites me, the pain is real, and I'm not refuting that pain, right? The pain is there, and saying that this is not painful or refuting it is incorrect. But in that moment, if I were to think about it, the I conception is really strong. It's solid. It's super there, and and it fails to understand that like this is all dependent on everything else that caused that pain. So that's how I understand it.
Good. Is fixing problem?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could give us a map because we're always saying not this, not this, not this, not. Okay, so like you know when you feel when do you get to the good stuff? You know.
I mean, things exist, they just don't inherently exist. They have a conventional identity that emerges from dependent relations.
That's the thing. I'm thinking about me, like my awareness. How far can we go? How far can we reduce?
There's no limit. No. What you got? Yeah, everyone, any other thoughts? Please to discussion. Because sometimes it makes more clear. I just say, oh, you guys are always talk too much. Therefore, if you have some different idea, try to. It's not we say okay like that. They're not explain like that. But it's in order to understand this very deeply, understand through the experience. We cannot say okay, what's Geshe-la Mala? This is Mala. He said, oh, thank you. That not like that. That thing is like, but oh, I have to close my door. Not can check I want to something.
So yeah, so you can't just explain it, and make you understand that. There's no way like that. Yeah? So the only way you can understand is by practicing, by meditating on it. So keep on meditating, and try to find the I in that way by meditating. So by thinking like, so in the night when you go to sleep, you say you have to close the door. So I have to close the door. So where is that I? That thinks that have to close the door. So the I closing the door. Where is this I? So you can just meditate like that.
Think of the eyes of the Lord condition.
And so see that how that I appears to your mind at that time. The I, and the I have to close the door. That I, how does it appear to your mind?
That there is some that pedo carriers. They have one pedo carriers. That could what that.
And then your next question is, what's the use of understanding that, right? So what if you understand that?
Reality.
Today, let us NASA was not. NASA only thing the Muslim.
So if you understand that, then you'll understand the reality.
It's supposed to be non-dual, right?
So you understand the reality, just like when you are sick, right? When a patient comes to you and then say, oh, what's wrong? Then you analyze, and oh yeah, this is the disease. This is what's causing him the pain. So it's just like that. So when you understand that, then you can get rid of it.
You go to MRI, CAT scan. I've not experienced because that before they don't have medicine, just painkillers. We just thought, okay, be patient. Or meditation, it's like kindness, compassion. It's okay, we try that. It can in the temporary calm down, but we don't really find that thought right matter. That member to tell no that it and go out the channel to do it. Ching
The root problem. You haven't found the root problem. You just give some general medicine to help you reduce the pain at that time, right? Then you do all these examinations. The CAT scan, MRI, or whatever you have to do. Then after that you find, oh, this is the disease, and then you take it. You do take it out surgically or whatever. Where you can get rid of that disease. Then you try to do that. Then you really get rid of the pain.
Okay, you know that. They news na go lava was. Tang other teaching that come also tap the issue.
So that's what we have to recognize. It's like you said, and once recognized, it's easy to refute it.
Okay. Yes.
So in the course of this course, I've been trying to, bring it to attention during those intense times of anger, whatever. That feeling itself, I'm able to recognize it, say, oh, it feels more here or more in my head, but sitting here meditating on it or in that moment meditating on it, I feel like I just walked through, well, I know it's not my skin, I know it's not my hair, I know it's not my eyes, I know it's not my body, I know it's something, but is that the first step? It's just the recognizing of the self, and then later on, you kind of figure out more to do. Does that make sense?
먼저 너 검자 쓰죠라. 그런 걸 나한테 떼고 올랐어. 다들 샤도는 되는 데는 되고 매려서. 한테 제라는 내가 뜨는데 내 매가 가서 올 때고 삼다를 했어.
완도지 갈갈 같아.
당부디 그런 삼타 당부디 딱 통해줘라가. 나 샤야줘라.
나도 간이 샤는 따고 그래서.
그러면 나 콜로서 가서 나 샤야줘.
오샤죠. 텐데 나도 간이 샤와도 샤도 약고 약고잖아. 텐데 샤와 나지데 매와데 텐데 나도 레라고 나서 또 그랬어.
So like when you see the eye at the time when you're very angry, right? So at that time, the eye that you see is the eye exists from its one side, without depending on any cause and condition. So that's the eye you see, but it's not able to recognize that or not able to hold it for a long time. And then the moment you try to hold it, it disappears. So it's very difficult. But once you are able to hold it or recognize it, then you can say, okay, so this is the eye. But that kind of eye, because that kind of eye exists from its one side, self-sufficiently, doesn't exist at all. So when you know that, then of course it's very easy to refute it.
Yeah. So when we're doing like a simple meditation like this, when that feeling hasn't arose, are we trying to almost emulate that feeling and try to create that feeling and find that I that exists from its own side? Or are we trying to find the self that exists here in the moment right now?
답변에 맞아 근데 소화 수주면 매복 값어. 근데 거는 마사요 값어. 따따다 검 겨우 값어. 아마도 되니까 근데 소화 그래서 네 계약이 다 주말로 계약이 다시 적으려 했어요.
그때 니 강도 깨 탑지 오르서. 나이 탑이 전에 휴체 탑이 전에 따데 간이 샤도 따고 그랬어. 니 특가는 로소.
네, 그다음에 주말지 다 나가서.
진짜 말로 가래나 지 조슈 야마나 가베 조 야마나 두고 조하는.
Yeah, so you pretend, like you are there or emulate it and then see, you can get that feeling. And then at that time, how does the eye appear to you? You check that.
생각도 보다 남도 안 하는데 뭐네 네가 요가는 놈도 바지테 따체 제다 투하고 랑 말고 뭐 남도한테 가지.
So you have to emulate that feeling, and then you see them. Because right now you emulate that feeling and okay, so when I'm scared, I will feel like this. And then you practice, and then when you're really scared, and then at that time how the eye appears, then you'll be able to recognize it. So you have not practiced, and and then later, even when you're in the situation where you get very angry and you have this strong appearance of the eye, but because you haven't practiced, so you're not able to recognize it.
Yes. Well, I have another thought, and I mean, it's been written in the books and whatever, so it's not original, but if you think about it, like you can see that the eye isn't real because like we've been talking about the negative, like being scared or angry, but it also works the other way. If you feel like a euphoria because, oh, I bought a new car or I bought something and it's like desire and that makes you happy. And we can see that you'll never be satiated. The desire will never end. It'll keep going, and that proves on analysis that it's not real, that this eye that experiencing the satiation, oh, I love the pizza so much, but if you keep eating the pizza, you get sick, that kind of thing. So somehow you could observe that in your life. If that makes sense. I don't know if I'm clear.
나랑은 누구도 통보 말했어.
어디요?
내가 그래가지고 배는 뭐라 저거 갔을 때 뭐라냐 그랬어. 내가 갔을 때는 배는 뭔가 피자 슈가 위에서. 내가 갔을 때는 신디그랬어.
Yeah, any kind so
Yeah, that brings the strong feeling of I.
Any kind, yes.
And we can see it's not real because we always have to get more
and
more and more, and then we get sick.
Yes.
A question related to Rika's question. So Rika was trying to see if there was a difference between this object of negation here, the I, and the self-sufficient, substantially existent person. And you said it's just the same thing, Geshe-la, correct? But if in the lower schools, they would say that the self-sufficient, substantially existent person is the subtle selfnesses of persons. But according to Prasangika, that's only the gross selfnesses of persons. So if this from the Prasangika perspective.
Yeah. So in the Prasangika Madhyamaka school, There's no difference. So the emptiness is not from the emptiness of the person or the emptiness of the phenomena. There's no difference in terms of the subtlety. The only difference is the basis of designation, the basis of emptiness. So when the basis of emptiness is phenomena, then that's the emptiness of phenomena. When the basis of emptiness is person, that's the emptiness of person.
But they're not refuting the same self-sufficient, substantially existent person that, for instance, the Sautantrika are, because they would.
대가리 주시면 대가 발편 로이 말이. 간 시에다 집어다. 삼도나 가자.
다지벌 로기에 안저도 간사 안저도 제도 받아. 안저도 제도 간사되다. 되네. 간사 데모버도 간사는 뭐 셔요.
아니 로기를 안저도 제도. 어쨌든 밑에 맞춤 세워야 되나?
제도 바로 마다다.
오늘 데모도.
데모버도 많이 했다.
또 타지 발라.
타지 버렸어. 다지 버렸어. 가서 내가 뭐 이거게 되게다 안저도 제도 나가. and got this show 많이 돼 그렇게 해봐요. 이러면서 저런 개발 얼마 나왔어. 집어냈어 그랬어.
되는 말이다. 근데 잘하면 가사가 담면 취지 담면 잘하면 되지 지어지는 거라서. 가사 담면 취지 담면서 되고 또지 취지 가사가 되면 맞거든요. 가사가 담면서. 또지 공부 되면 맞거든요. 취지 담면들 그러고서.
나도 뭐서 나도 안 돼도 되도 봤어.
라제도 돼 들어서 돼까지 시다 칸 시다 집어야 뭐지. 이제 잠깐만 보면 탄이자다 집어지 시작을 거지. 제가 제일 가는 맛도 라제도 돼. 접어이나 아니 좀 더 탄이자다 집어야 뭐지. 이제 텐데데 타지블라 같이 데버도 막 까워서 말 코스는 거는 까고 무슨 소리가 깔리는 까고 말하지.
아니도 되도.
야. 그 까고 말하지. 소리 거는 캐도.
So in the lower class, like you said, in the lower school, something they will talk about the emptiness of self-sufficient or substantial existing, and that means like there's no substantial existing or self-sufficient existing, which means it depends on cause and condition, right? So, but in the Pabongka mathematical school, we don't use that term, so we don't use that term. We just talk about the lack of true existence.
Right.
So when you negate the things, being empty of being truly existent, when you negate that, then the self-sufficient existing and substantial existing is also already negated. So it doesn't specifically use the word, to say it in that way in the Pabongka mathematical school, but it is it's a similar, that it doesn't exist from its own side or doesn't exist truly.
But the Pabongka are refuting inherent existence on the basis of either the person or phenomenon, whereas in the lower schools would only be on the basis of the person and not inherent existence necessarily, right?
나도 당시도 받이 가격 말았어. 너 엄마도 되게 당시도 받 가격 말았어. 제가 다른 거는 다 다녀보게도 다른 것도 대마마로 나오는 그래서 라인저 bar 저들이 동어로 갈라바는데 그 당시도 받을 때마다 서 가격.
저는 가고. 단계별로 봐봐야 돈이 더 붙여. 제가 아니 봐봐야 돈이 더 붙여봐야 거기 남의 거매라 무슨 깔려 냐고 말이야. 그냥 봐봐야 돈이 더 강가 되는 시간 캐도 가지.
So according to the Pabongka mathematics, so if you are Arya being, then you have to have realized emptiness directly. So you don't have to like go through this one in the different schools and thoughts and like that. So once you have negated the true existence or the existence from its one side, then you have already realized the emptiness, and so you become Arya, and at the same time you realize the emptiness directly.
Okay, does it make sense? Is it more clear? Shall you more clear?
Yeah. I thought I had read it in one of the
제가 봐봐야 아니 그 돈이 또 그래서 그는 봐봐야 네 가서
너 얼마나 또 그거
또 아니
봐봐야 돈이
봐봐야 돈이 많아
돈이 가서 돈이 많아 남의 또 그래
남의 또 그래 다줄라 아니 남의 줘 돈이 또 그래서
돈이 것도 알고
돈이었잖아.
지난번 돈이
그때 고메다. 또 쉐라마도 고마라. 같이 단지별로야 아니 그 가자데 아니 또 시집은 잠깐만요. 가자 시집은 가자 이제 대바트 같이 버렸어. 가자도 주니까.
so the selflessness of phenomena or selfless of a person, or emptiness of person, emptiness of phenomena. It's not from it is from the basis of the designation, basis of the designation to be refuted, right? And not from the the subtle point, not from the subtlety, but just from the basis of designation.
가다는 다 당기 그까라가 나지 전에. 같이 가다라자 때문에 제이트 트바 당 가다랑은 트바 가지 샤이로나. 가비시 샤고 말아 가지. 가다라자 때문에 제이트 트바데 단줄라 가서 말아. 아니 가다랑은 트바 트트는 트바데 가로.
So anyway, so going back to that self-sufficient or substantially existing in the Pasangika Mother School, and the exist form is one side are no difference. So when you refute the something being empty of existing form is one side, then it's also refuting that being empty of existing self-sufficient or substantially.
Okay, but I think that you could make the mistake if you said that the object of negation here, according to Prasangika, was the self-sufficient, substantially existing person. It might be easy to make the mistake that you're thinking of it in terms of the lower school's definition of the subtle selfnesses of persons, right?
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, you might make mistake like that. Yeah.
So that was my question. So you weren't saying to Rika that that's the same. That's not the same.
It's the same in this system, in the Pasangika mathematical system.
Okay.
So like in so when now this text, the liberation of the palm of your hand, the special insight section on this text that we're talking about is according to the Pasangika mathematical school. So that is what is assumed, right? So based on that, then it means the same. So you don't have to specifically talk about the self-sufficiently or substantially existent. If you negate, the true existence, or existence means one side, then you automatically negate, the self-sufficiently or substantial existence also.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. But still, that's good, It's not. I cannot explain the 100%. Only this, all the masters different way. Therefore, you can also discussion, stand different ways to. This is very good. Okay. Okay. 다 가진 딩고는 다들 두잖아요. 그리고 알아 대바도 방가 말인 거 삼고 맞도 안 말 삼고 다때 나서 뭐네디 나타도 나가서 이게 야보지 하고 와이나 다 나타도 봐 밀어서 내려고 그래서 답변이 되다 들어온 거죠.
And so usually, we don't have this thought about, the I, how does the I appear to me, right? Either the truly existing I or I exist from this one side that appear to me, like that, But when we really see that, then we can cure that, Then we can refute it. Once you refute it, then you will not have the problem coming from that and grasping at the self as existence one side or like that, And so just like identifying the root cause, the root disease, that's causing you all this pain.
Okay, that is not easy. It is the most complicated place. Let's say you go to the Lamrim Chemo, they're more complicated, more resources, right? Have you studied before? Haven't studied? A little bit or a lot? But this is the most complicated place. We cannot just white and black, switch on or off, okay? When try to identify or awareness how it appears me or I, when we have very strong emotion or feeling, then basically we have high appearance, or bring that term high appearance, try to compare that what difference. Through that, more meditation, more deep, more intention, thinking more. First you thinking, then you try to keep your mind on that meditation, not moving everywhere. Then you deeper in your mind, something feeling, some when we eat that food, we chew, then we can feel that in our chest. It's like that way. 맞아요. 말씀 좀 미셔라 버리셨다. 나도 같이 수수가 셈이 냠냠하지. 나도 지금 너무 좋 맞다 봤더니 살아와.
So it's like unexpressible, So it's you can't express in a word like how you feel, about the eye.
Yes.
Usually we say go right instead of I because we grasp like so.
이거 제대로 만든다. 나이 쇼진세 진짜.
I told you about
그래서 두 번 왔어요. 내가 더 만들어서.
Yeah. I'm the best one.
just give. I'll tell you right. I don't study it. Because the first theory question within like thing of right? Like somebody, for example, we say I'm worried, or I'm surprised, right? They're all passive, right? Because you are caused by somebody's condition, they're bringing you kind of response. So you use those kind of words as your emotion, right? Because I learned the Chinese version, but I try to interpret a little bit. So I found it very interesting, when you feel those kind of things. So you understand the cause and condition raised by somebody, you get to know more, and then you understand this is like, if you get to understand happiness more, then it's supposed to have like no self, right? Less ego. So you understand that, so you won't have any strong feeling to get back to the person because he was already dragged by some cause and condition. So you won't put that like some like factors, then you've got some strong feeling for that. So that's the one thing that you're aware, right? If you aware this kind of situation, you practice more in your daily life, then you get less like no self, and there's kind of like a awareness.
뭐라 하고 소소 하고 있어다. 나한테 하고 왜나? 내가 주다 길을 때는 뭐 하고 왜나 되네. 내가 내한테 하고 그랬어. 내가 하고 왜나 되면 미시다가 되네. 코로사다는 뭐 싫어하는 거 말했어. 안 되는 거도 나지도 뉴뉴를 보냈어. 뭐 뭐때 가서 뭐 보자마자 그래서 그러면서.
예, 나 이것도 예쁜 하고 있나? 아니 나라지 다 쳐다보면서 맞잖아.
Yes, that definitely helps, to think. To reduce the delusions like attachment, anger, and so forth. When you come to understand better about the I.
Because I have an ego, then everybody has an ego. If I say I and then you, so I'm thinking reduce your ego. Have the strong like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Bob, your question?
Well, I was thinking that Mark, you were saying we're always saying what doesn't exist, but then not saying, well, so how does it exist, right? But I think the problem is with emptiness, you can say logically how things don't exist, but you can't use words to describe exactly what exists. So you have to realize what doesn't exist and then experience directly what does exist. That's
I just wanted to cheat and find maybe he had a shortcut.
eyes.
I'm trying to find it, and it's.
There's no shortcut, okay?
No, it was an explicit answer. I wish.
In shortcut, you need to also more hardworking. Like you need to shortcut, go to very fast. You need to fly. Okay. Anyway, that's good. Good. Yeah, you guys read.
So there is an answer here.
Okay.
It says, if there is no intrinsic existence, then what does exist? Is that the question?
Mhm.
Okay, and the Master Buddha Pamita also gives an answer that clearly he says, let's see, he said it.
Very good question. You can answer.
That sorry. Really good answer.
Mark is too excited to listen.
So, I gotta find it.
Okay, she's not. Okay, you have something?
Did I get this question from a couple of pages?
Yeah. In your cover, maybe I'm not there yet. And what they say?
It's 27 in the
What they say?
be reading and then I answer the question. Right after chanting the words first, or if you can identify what the self is, the things to be included and that does not exist, you will not recognize any implication, having no further implication that remains here to the process of meditation. If you're talking about the infinite,
아닌가 그랬어라.
아.
아닌가 그랬어 그러면서 동반이지.
내가 매집이.
아닌가 그랬어 내가 그랬어.
어머니 때.
right after chanting.
아닌가. 아닌가 내가 얘기해볼게.
I found the answer.
Okay. That thing I do the precious Lord. I don't have the red answer for you. Okay. 저 도와드려도 도만이 돼.
아닌가 내가 그랬어.
딜래. 다 내가 알릴 때 내게 좀더만 파트로 가지고 매가라 가지 많이 가라 그래.
So there's a different once Geshe-la said he has to look in the text to find the right answer, whether it's affirming negative or non-affirming negative.
가지 고지 파 매어 속이지 야불 뭐마서나 대값에 매가 도만이 야고 하고 공부해서 내줘. 가지. 그래서 가면 내가 할 때까지 가 바꿔서 담보 가야 돼 그래 하고 그랬어. 대학가 맞거나 아니 대값에 매가 돼 무슨 말했을 때요.
So you will not understand the affirming negative negation, affirming negation, if you don't know what is the really to be negated. Yeah. So exactly.
왜 마도하지? 맨날 저거 집어자로 그랬어.
So it's like without seeing the target, you're shooting without seeing the target.
제가 다 또만이 그런 경우는 그 많이 가다 매가디야 좀 다시 했다 갈 때. 그게 집어 말이지. 주망하기 잘.
So is it the affirming or non-affirming negative? Like when you say, so the fat guy doesn't eat in the
The
daytime.
guy doesn't eat during the day. Yeah, that's an affirming negative because that's
affirming.
Yeah, because he eats
That's
at
affirming.
night. Yeah.
Yeah. So the emptiness would be non-affirming, non-affirming.
제가 내가
많이 갔어, 봐. 회진이 가서 회진 소고 소고스.
그래서 뭐 이왔어. 해지 그 선보였어. 그 님에 가서는 그 건다 사기 하고 그랬어.
So the fat Devadatta doesn't eat in the day. So he just doesn't eat in the day, but he's a fat. How does it come?
Makes up for it.
So it
How come it's so fat? So that means he's eating in the night. So even though you know by knowing that saying he doesn't eat in the day, you come to understand that he eats in the night time. So that will be affirming negative. Right?
Yeah.
많이 가라.
많이 가.
제가 또 많이는 매가잖아. 매가.
So the emptiness will be affirming negative, non-affirming negative.
So if you correctly negate objective negation, fall into
소소히 먼저 더 가야 되지 먼저 더 가야 저러다 또 나자제 가져 가야 저러다 뭐가 따다 가토면은 안에 다 두배도 두고 거라
된다고 그래. 가야 돼 따다 가서는 되게 그래. 가야 돼 가발라
되는 마인드 차로 갔어
까다 닫고 돼 말이야. 네 가래 가서는 아니 내 말도 바꿔. 내 말도 바꿔니 같이 또 많이 있어야 돼. 같이 좀 봐. 제대로는 매가도 많이 가서 되고 좀 더 수준에 더 시다 가요.
So then it's very similar, right? It's a similar, like in a sense, like you say you're fat, but you don't eat in the daytime because that means you understand that you eat in the nighttime, right? So when you come to understand that it's not as it's always on one side, then you come to understand that you exist by depending on so and so, right? So that is also non-affirming negative. Affirming negative. That's affirming negative also. Yeah. So then the emptiness becomes affirming negative also. In that case, right? In that sense. So that's why you should say that's a different way of asserting the affirming and non-affirming negative from different schools. So from the object itself, it's a non-affirming, like talking about the emptiness or the space. These are all non-affirming negative.
Okay. Yes. So I have according to so Lama Sankara quotes
very exciting. Now he has very eyes. So I want that.
The chapter on dependent arising and emptiness. Check
No, not yet. Do you have the book?
That one?
No, he have to read. No, don't read. Then he be lazy. Not all. Just kidding. Who said the book?
Or just the end of the chapter. I just wanted to know where it is, so then I'll read it at home too.
No, I'm just kidding. You can read it. Yeah, read it.
Okay, and this is Lama Sankara quoting Chandrakirti's commentary on Aryadeva's 400 stanzas. So he said, okay, if it does not intrinsically exist, then what is there? The answer? Dependent arisings, entities caused by the afflicted and the pure do exist.
Yes, yeah. Doesn't get in? Yeah.
Dependent
arising is emptiness.
No, you need to take this theory. Don't take the theory, it shows you are not really deeply. Wow. Okay, I think now we stop. We're going to read today Tautama and the Chitendo. Yodichi. Yeah. They put me chitro, Chilamdo. And the Tautama and the Yodichi.
So yeah, the honest of good quality. So this is again today is the fourth week of just Lama Zopa Rinpoche is passing away into Nirvana. So to do this prayer, honest of all good qualities and prayers in the beginning, middle, and end.
This is the least that implementing centers, right? This is the least. The least implementing.
119.
19 for the foundation of good qualities.
Yeah. Okay. On the list of centers.
Yeah, list centers. Yeah. Complete that one.
Foundation of good qualities.
Yeah. Either which one first?
Foundation of all good qualities. Clearly seeing this time, these must be relied upon with great respect. Understanding
那那别玩的这个，讲我学我今天老是这样的大毛病是别个了，大大能给人到这就像这个。
Even if I develop a teaching yet don't practice 3 types of gravity, I will not achieve enlightenment. My clear recognition of this leads me. Once I have pacified the structures of wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to direct quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway in the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the 2 attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to practice these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, the Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sections, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the gurus who showed the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice and have long lives, please bless me to pacify completely all matter and emptiness. All my lives never separated from purpose. May I enjoy the Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages of past. May I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Okay. Should we begin middle end? 103. Teachings through the awareness of this contemplation, and with joyous effort, cutting clinging attachment to this life, isolation. And thus, through hearing, contemplation, and meditation,
realization
tending our forward mind,
fire lies clinging to silent states or personal liberation never arrives. Awareness through a mind of attachment. For all possessed wealth may at first gather these inconsiderable material generosity, and bring them satisfaction by teaching the Dharma. Through negotiation of mental life, uphold the victory banner of liberation, never giving up even the slightest precept that I receive, even for the sake of my life. Seeing, hearing, or thinking of beings who lead, abuse, or humiliate me, free from anger and I express their qualities and cultivate patience. By having completely abandoned the three types of laziness that prevent both attainment of virtues not attained further development, strive with joyous perseverance. Having abandoned quiescent states that on the whole cause cyclic rebirth, are devoid of the insight that subdues samsara and are dry of the compulsion as an ashes, I integrate the two. Having fully informed and misconceived views, holding a supreme made up argumentations, the ultimate existence, I realize all avoiding emptiness. Those with broken precepts, though looking like monks, who have lost their morality through inconsideration, are fearless of actions despised by the holy, may I yoke them to all ascetical discipline. Whoever has left the excellent to engage in mistaken, distorted paths, influenced by negative God, may I easily set on paths made by the others. Having brought false like mistaken teachers of their boldness, with my life for teaching, debate, and composition, then caring for them by whatever means will subdue them, may I uphold the victory banner of the undeclined teachings. Wherever born, may I drink the ambrosia of Buddha's speech, and at that time have good family, form, wealth, wisdom, and free from illness, a long and happy life. To those who always give their harmful intention toward my body, life, or possessions, and also to those who speak unpleasantly to me, may I especially be as loving as mother. And then I, before too long, she cherishes others more than self, and takes up the burden of freeing all beings, grant them the unsettled state of enlightenment. Whoever sees or hears these prayers or thinks of them, may they as well be undiscouraged in accomplishing the bodhisattvas most great and powerful. Fully completing the perfection of prayer, may I fulfill the hopes of all the devotees. Ready the prayers? Okay. Page 39, Thanksgiving Model Offering. Aji perdi chujame dokra vekam ninchin yedenge tadi sabye jiktu bilde kubai krokum naka chingla chirpashu jetsun lame kutse rakten ching naka kinle chokcher ye pada losam tenpe gurme sasun yi grove kanse kaktunen yorchi Ida Guru Ratna Mandala Kangiryatayami. For my two collections, vast as space, that I have asked of working with effort and discretion for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha of all those whose mind's wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my life under your tree. May I find the best of the great paths and teachings. May I please all who practice. Using skillful means strong by the strong force of compassion. May I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the eye and the light will serve them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out in compassion, whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread and declined, may I reveal his treasure of happiness safely. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted boundless peace, and the Buddha's seeds be nourished for a long time. And even this rated course to enlightenment completed, if one of these virtues come to the Buddha's children. May all of you eliminate adversity and make things conducive to practicing the excellent path. Never be part of any of their lives from the purest path created by the Buddhists. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold lion of virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and the oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. In that snow mountain encircled land, so I saw every benefit joy. A Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezi, remain in life till samsara's end. Savior, the story teachings of transmigratory beings, who extensively clarifies the path of compassion, the lotus of the hand, Lord, that will beseech all your holy wishes fulfill. Big enough for people to see on the TV?
Need to.
Sure. Online.
One button. Trying to remember to do it.
I'm trying to remember the tune.
So you can do it in English.
Do it. Dame ten padena signera, so no signo ya te yuva oji, awan jin ge ya yu malu, de mo ba nu be ge de oizo. No, 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 de do de rimbo, che, no, de vela, agya mi jodo be koja, che, so me ye, lama so, and the water joy koji. Oh, yeah, there, and I see those of my day. Bottom, page 49, the prayer to always meet with perfect teachers. Your form embodies all Buddhas, your nature is that of Vajradhara, you are the Buddha of the three jewels, homage to you, O Kurukulla. In short, I seek your blessings of protected, be cared for by you from birth unto many age throughout all my life. Thus I become your chief disciple, holding every issue. Protect everything strength and all the auspicious from me. Disciples wherever you so that all my temporal and ultimate wishes without exception may be effortlessly and spontaneously fulfilled. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, and I enjoy the benefits of Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages of past, may I quickly attain a state of Anandara. Furthermore, in life after life, may I pleasing you return, be forever fostered by countless It is clear may I acquire him with much shape.
或者尤其
Yeah.
对我真的不在发展这个人，因为稍微一直就把他们
Every life,
怎么不能就
a lot of speech is mine. Because it's solely for the welfare of others, for the purest and highest enlightenment. Page 57, prayer of dedication. To this virtue may I swiftly and with action in that state, purchase supreme body mind, may well unborn arise, and will never decline, according to forever. 75, same up.
Reminder that Sunday's class will be followed by Lama Chopa, Puja, and then next Wednesday we'll be doing Tara Puja.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you, Dr.